Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. So today's going to be a quick episode. One, because I already recorded it, and for some reason it downloaded in a different version of GarageBand, and I could not retrieve the audio. It's very sad. And it was so good too, as I was up until like 3 a.m. and I was so inspired, and I was like, I lost it. So I'm going to try to reproduce it. But I think after going through the whole thing, I can actually maybe condense it, and maybe I can make a quick podcast for once in my life. All right. So the question was, or the topic was around the question of, why are you single? And this guy asked me that question, and I knew him well enough to say, you know, when you ask a girl or a guy that question, why are you still single? I said, it's a gut punch. And he was like, what? He goes, no, I just mean like, you're so smart and you're beautiful and you're successful. And it just seems like somebody should have snatched you up already. So what's the deal? And so I explained him, and he's a super nice guy. So there was nothing behind it other than, I can't believe that somebody hasn't married you because you're marriage material. He was basically saying that, but his delivery, and I was telling him, you know, when you say this to women, don't say it in that way, because it can be hurtful, because the answer is tough when it's asked in that way. And so we had this whole conversation. He was like, oh my God, I just said this to somebody else, and he could tell it wasn't really received that well, or she didn't really respond to it, because she was also a very successful woman. And he was basically asking me, you know, how do I retrace my steps here, and how do I make it better? And so what I told him is that the reason people aren't single, I said, first of all, it's kind of a dumb question, because I was like, no offense, but the reason people aren't single is because they have not met their significant other, right? You haven't met the dude. That's why I'm single. I have not met the guy I'm like, I want to spend the rest of my life with that person. Now, if you know my story, you know I've thought that when I've met gumball guys, but now doing all the research, I know why I felt that they may be the one. However, after learning what it takes for a long-term relationship, friendship, commitment, dedication, powering through the boring days, the exciting days, the work days, working together, knowing that you have to come to the table as complete of a person as you can possibly be. Otherwise, like we've talked about before, married couples really struggle when they haven't done the work on themselves prior, when they thought that that person would make them happy, and then they get married and they realize, this person isn't making me happy. That's my responsibility. And so inside the marriage, they have to learn how to make themselves happy. And we know a lot of times, in fact, 70% of the time, the person chooses to make themselves happy with another person outside the marriage. And that's why so many people are cheating. 50% of the marriages end in divorce. 70% are cheating. So only 30% of the people are really considered happily married, as we talk about a lot. But I like to remind you of that, because it's so important that we remember that just because someone has a ring on their finger doesn't mean they're not actively cheating, being cheated on, unhappy, not happy with themselves. Like, these people aren't the ring on the finger is not the symbol of success. The symbol of success is, are they actively working on their relationship all the time? It's like a friendship, right? We're always contributing to our friendships, making sure we're listening to each other, making sure we're making time for each other, all of those things. Okay. So I said to him, the reason people are single is A, they haven't met the person, and B, they have decided not to settle, right? If you're single right now, it's because you've decided not to settle. Remember my story back in Nebraska when I was standing in the jewelry store? Could have had the ring, the wedding, and I knew in that moment, no, this is settling. I'm not supposed to be with this person. This is not the life that I'm supposed to choose. And I remember sitting there thinking, if I choose this, then, it's like, now I see what I would have given up. But I didn't know what was ahead of me then. I didn't know that just a year later I would move to New York City. I didn't know all the people I would meet. I didn't understand that for me personally, the road that I need to go on is to help so many other women have the courage to do the same. And so God has chosen for me to remain single so that I understand that not only do I need to learn to love myself, but the newest message that I also am learning is that I need to be prepared to receive love. Because when we love ourselves, and I didn't really even intend to say this right now, but it's just coming out. Maybe this is the reason that the other version, I'm not able to get the file. But if you think about it, when you're dating gumball guy after gumball guy, and you realize you've never really felt or been consistently loved to the point where you can relax and just receive it. Some of us have really never had that on a consistent basis. If we're lucky, we have it with friends and family, and we know what it's like to be loved unconditionally. We know what it's like to be a jerk. We know and be loved by our mom or sister or brother or dad or whatever. How many times we've been a jerk to our immediate family. You mouth off, you say something snarky. They're going to love you the same the next day. Now, it doesn't mean we don't say we're sorry and, hey, sorry for, but we have a lot of latitude with our family and friends because we know that they know our whole heart. They know our intention. And even though it might come out ugly sometimes, same for me, like my family or friends, if it comes out ugly, I know who they are. So I don't spend a lot of time feeling hurt about it. I used to though. Hashtag growth, right? It's like, man, I used to be a lot more sensitive. Still am sensitive, but used to be a lot worse. But that sensitivity came from always having that sense of rejection, always feeling like I wasn't enough. I didn't want to be heard. No one really cared about what I was saying. And I was just telling my friend Jess, who you guys know, Glam with Jess. If you don't, she's helped me with the website, put the academy on Kajabi. I mean, she's just been so integral. And I was telling her that, I'm trying to write these email sequences. So when people sign up for my email list, that they get emails from me that tell you guys about the academy. And so, when you're trying to write these emails, you really want to share from the heart where this concept came from. And so I want to tell you what Gumball Love is. I want to tell you who I am so you understand who is Melissa, what is Gumball Love, what is this academy that she's created, and why should I join it? Like that's the intent of the email. And I've been trying to write emails to you guys. If you sign up for my list or does this chick ever send an email? It's because I was struggling still in this area that I would sit down and write an email and I would think, this is boring. No one cares. And I realized this is boring. No one cares. No one wants to hear this. This is dumb. Nobody's going through this. All those bad thoughts were going through my head. And I'm sharing this with you, being a little bit vulnerable, but also I just want you to know that, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm still on the journey. I'm still hearing the things this is still a tape, if you will, playing in my head. And my friends are just like, Melissa, no, people need this. Women are hurting and you need to get over this because you've got to write these emails. You've got to say your message. And so, and part of it was also, you'll see if you get emails, if you haven't joined the academy yet, you'll start to get them shortly. And, you'll see, I share my story. I share the real deal because I was working with my coach, Rachel Luna, and I was trying to write these emails. And I was really struggling. And she was like, Melissa, just write to your girls. Like, what does she need? What help does she need? And so that's why I always ask you guys, what do you need? Tell me what you need, because I know we hear a lot of podcasts and we're sold a lot of things, but for me, this is, if I'm not helping you and I'm not making changes in people's lives and I'm not moving the needle, then I'm going to hang it up. Like that's what I'm here to do. And so it means so much to me. And I know what it means. However, I would still go to write the emails and think, does anyone really care? And the turning point that I've made is that I've been getting all these, I sent a survey to the girls inside the academy, and I said, I need to know, I want to hear what you think so I can tell you guys in the emails. I can give you that feedback of here's what the girls are saying inside the academy. And when they write their success stories, it almost feels like too much praise, too much like, oh my gosh, this is really hard. It's hard for me to take it in. And that was actually kind of bugging me that it was hard, because I thought I should be really taking that in and really experiencing the joy of my dream coming true, that these women really are making huge changes in their lives and they're doing the work, because I figured out a formula and a path to follow with guidance and love, and with the support of the group along with me and along with the academy and all the tools that we provided. This is making this so much easier, so much faster. And it's a system to follow. I didn't have this system. I had to figure it out. I was like blindfolded in the dark, feeling my way through. And so many times, I'm almost embarrassed to say, I've been finding myself being embarrassed. Like, man, I came up with Gumball Love 10 years ago. But let me tell you a little secret. 10 years ago, yeah, maybe I had the concept, but it's actually almost going on 11 years now. I had the concept, but I didn't have the confidence to think. There were times when I would think, man, this thing is really powerful. Like, it was really helping me. But I was just keeping it all to myself. Can you imagine? Just Gumball Love, just one person using it. And I did feel guilty. I was like, and anytime I would feel like, is this a dumb idea? Because I doubted it a lot. Then I would think, boy, it's helped me so much though. Like, I can see this stuff so clearly now. And I kept referring to this concept that I just kept working on. And so I was so slow to share it. And in my defense, social media, 11 years ago wasn't what it is today, but it still was there. But I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know really what to do. I would post something thinking like, okay, I've posted to Facebook. Let me wait for the crowd to roar. Let me wait for this big response. And I would be nervous posting it like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put this out there. And then nothing. It was like my mom and my sister would like it, and I would ask them, like, is this dumb? Is this like a weird idea? And my high school girlfriends, I remember getting together with them and I was going to write this book, and, people got all excited with me for a while, but then I would lose faith. So I'm telling you that even though I had this idea 11 years ago, I would put it down for months. I wouldn't even write. I wouldn't research. I would just do other things, work my full-time job. And then I would decide on a weekend, like, I think I'm going to pick that back up. And I would just kind of flirt with it, because it was hard for me to accept the fact that you're actually developing a relationship concept that can go national, can go global. People listen to this podcast all over the world. That's also surreal. And I found myself hiding from that success a little bit because it's hard to receive it. It's hard to accept the success and accept that not only do I need to accept the success, but I also need to accept additional responsibility to take this to the next level. The next level means me telling more of my story, because there's more to tell, and just putting myself more out there and getting this message to as many people as possible. So that means, and I am taking the steps, but I'm really reflecting right now that I just went so slow because I had so much self-doubt. The self-doubt was there because I always had men in my life and a very critical family. All of us were so critical of ourselves and each other. It was like, make one move, somebody's going to make fun of you. So I was always anticipating criticism, and that is why I know I've developed a pattern of hesitation, because really I'm a hard worker. So I would think, is this procrastination or is it hesitation? Am I hesitating because I'm questioning my own value? And so in this process, I've realized that questioning my own value, I've had a wall up in receiving. And so I'm telling you this also because I have realized that not only am I going to be tasked with helping you find the gumball guys, realize the red flags, and well, there's a few things. One, I want to help you figure out what's going on in your current relationship or in your past relationships. I think a lot of times, I know for me, I wanted to know what happened with my ex or the one before that. I had questions. It just bugged me. Like, why didn't this work? Like, what was that guy's deal? This happened. Like, I couldn't just deal with the fact that it didn't work out. I needed to understand why. What was happening there? What did I do wrong? And so isn't it funny how we're willing to accept the blame, we're willing to accept the negative about ourselves, but we're not willing to accept the positive about ourselves. We're not willing to receive the love and the praise and the success and acknowledge it about ourselves. So I'm challenging you along with myself that, are you not really acknowledging yourself for who you are, for your successes, for your accomplishments? When people compliment you, when people thank you for what you do, even in my full-time job, I caught myself doing it again where my boss called me out in the meeting and complimented the work that I've been doing in my full-time job. And I was like, it's not really that big of a deal. And so I feel like God's really telling me, no, stop doing that, because love is coming and you need to be ready to receive it. You need to be ready for when somebody falls in love with you and sees your qualities. You can't reject it. You have to be able to receive it. So I don't really know what that means exactly. I'm going to be really kind of thinking about things like, what are the receptors that we have to have open in order to be ready? What does that mean? So I'm going to be kind of going on that journey with you a little bit, because I feel like, yes, we need to understand the past. Yes, maybe you need to break up with the guy that you're with right now. And I know how hard that is. And if you get my emails, once we get this whole sequence done, I'm going to be sending them out each month to kind of remind you of what is Gumball Love, why this was created, what this is intended to do for you. Because I look out there and there's so many thousands of you, and I'm like, okay, where is she? Is she with a gumball guy? Is she not sure? Where are you? So tell me where you are. Like, you can always send me an email. I have plenty of time to answer your emails. So send all the ones you want, because I make time to do this. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to hear. And so I want you to receive the idea that I actually really care. Okay? Sometimes we're like, oh, it's just some chick on a microphone. She's doing a podcast. She doesn't really want to know about me. Yes, I really do. For real, for real. So are you in a relationship that you need to get out of? Or are you out of that relationship, but not really? Because if he calls or he texts, you're going to be like, right back in there. I actually wrote in the email how I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm never going to talk to him again. Like, he's a total jerk. And then also me, waiting for his text and hoping he begs me back. Like I love an also me. Those are the best. So I get it. Like you're out of it, but your mind is still right there. And you shouldn't be, but it's like the struggle is real, right? So this is the one area that I feel like is a little bit of a favorite or a specialty of mine, is when you feel stuck right there. Like, Melissa, I want to go. I know I have a life I need to lead, things I need to do, but this guy has me stalled right here, and I really need help pushing through. If you're there, I want you to have a life that you deserve, but I feel like, one, you need to get away from the guy that's sucking the life out of you. But two, what gives me urgency to do this and what makes me work weekends and never really do anything, I almost hardly ever do anything for fun right now, because when I'm really in creative mode, I feel like this sense of urgency, because I feel like so many of us are not doing what we're supposed to be doing in our life because we're stuck with a guy, and it can really cripple you, can really stall your progress. And that concerns me. And I don't want you stuck there. So I want you to raise your hand, join the next academy, book a one-on-one. Let's get through this, because you have important stuff to do. This is not a dress rehearsal. We only have one life. Like, it's time. I feel like right now, for so many women, it's time to break through what is holding us back with these guys. Now, then there's the other side of, as you're breaking through and you're working through that process, what do? How do you claim your life? How do you, like I've named the academy, get back to you so that you can get rooted, that you can get secure in that life and stay stable? So that's why in the academy, you can see why this, I'm trying to explain to you why I've created the support system, because you need it. I need, and also going back to, I would hesitate because I was hiding. I was hiding because I didn't really have anybody around that really understood, or I had people that were doing the exact same thing. They got it, but they didn't know how to get out of it either. So we would sit there and have coffee and drink wine and talk about it forever. Gosh, I can think of like my very good friend Shannon. I mean, we would just sit there and talk about our gumball guys, and we didn't know how to get out of it. But I love her to death, because at least we were supporting each other the best we knew how at the time. And so I also know that this process takes a while. And so when we're going to a friend that maybe doesn't relate, doesn't want to talk about this gumball guy for the 15th time, they don't understand. You need a place you can do that. Because if you don't have this and you need to talk about it for the 15th time and you feel like you can't, then you develop shame around the topic. Then you start hiding, and then you start talking to him in secret. And then you start feeling guilty about that. So my environment for this is, if you're talking to him, don't make it be a secret. Who cares if you're talking to him? I'm going to be like, okay, so if you still want to talk to him, let's talk about that. What are you talking about? How are you feeling? If you're still hooking up with him, but you don't want to, but you're still unable to resist it, it's so important to just go, okay, we do not have to beat ourselves up. It does not produce any good results. So if you are in it to grow and you're committed, yet you're still, I don't expect you to commit to it and then all of a sudden be some kind of superhero with strength and clarity. And it's like, no, I don't expect you to come in to the academy and just be like the rock star student, because I feel like that's unrealistic. In fact, if you were, I would feel like you were faking it, because I understand the process. This is hard. It's really hard to break ties with somebody and reclaim our lives and move forward. It's uncharted territory in a lot of ways. So the goal for you in this process, whether you do it in the academy or not, I'm just trying to lay out what I feel like is the best the best situation to do this. And I've been writing this email. I've been thinking about you guys and having you in my mind. And so, I just want to share the process with you so you understand where these emails come from. Please read them if you get them. Please tell me if you hate these emails. Like, I want them to really speak to you, and I want them to, I want you to understand where this is coming from so you can think about it. Maybe you want to do it this month or next month. We're going to run them every single month. And eventually I'd like to have them just open so you can just hop in any week and join and start now. I feel like too, I'm leaning toward that style versus monthly because I know sometimes when we're in a situation, we need to get out of it, or we're feeling really low or feeling really depressed about being single, whatever. We need to do it now. Like sometimes people email me and they'll email me this horrific situation and then they'll book their appointment for like 2 weeks out. And I'm like, no, we need to talk today. And they're like, oh my God, really? Yes. Like if I can make the time and I see your situation is, I'm not going to make you sit in that pain and wonder for 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. If I can make the time and we can expedite this, let's do it. So if you look at my schedule and my calendar when you're booking your appointment, you're like, yeah, I got to meet with her. You just tell me, just email me, say, hey, Melissa, I've got like a 911 situation. I'm freaking out. My anxiety is crazy. I'm not sleeping, whatever the situation is. This is my forte. And you know what? I'm realizing I am really good at this. And I am receiving that about myself because I have to acknowledge the success that this is having and claim it, because there's a part of me that wants to deflect it and just be like, no, this is just what I do and no big deal. But that's not good, because then I'm not really receiving the compliments that are coming from the girls, the successes that they're having. I'm not sharing that with you guys. I don't know why. Isn't it weird how there's kind of an embarrassment? There's a sense of wanting to hide, and I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to the next level. Okay. Because, and I'm sharing this with you because even though I've made all this progress, this is still an area where I, as your coach, I'm still working, I'm still growing. And I am now at the point where I'm like, through this journey, I've never really thought about how I need to be more open and create content, support, and a conversation around being ready to receive love. So this podcast started with, why are you single? And I wanted you to have a great answer for that, because I have not met my significant other and I do not settle. And if you feel like you're being kind of heckled by someone, ask them straight up. Do you feel like you settled for your spouse, or do you feel like you won the lottery with your spouse? And if they go, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like if I'm not winning the lottery and it's not the person that I know I'm supposed to be with and there's not an ounce of doubt, then I'm not going to settle, because being single is better than settling. And that is the answer. And that is a good answer. And that means you have self-respect. But I also want us to have positive anticipation and be ready to receive the love when it comes. Be ready to receive. Also, be ready to receive someone really liking you, really being intrigued by you. I want you, as your homework this week, to really imagine when you're on your next date, or if you're dating somebody and you're starting to feel like maybe it's something, I want you to think about it as this person really is seeing the good qualities that I have. I want you to focus on your good qualities. And I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to focus on my good qualities. I'm going to focus on how have I made space in my heart and in my mind to be loved, to be appreciated, to see someone valuing what I have to offer. What is that going to look like? So if you haven't met somebody yet, I want you to picture them. And even if you have to create conversations in your head, like, wow, this is really great. Like, you've really built a beautiful life for yourself. and your friends are amazing and you've worked so hard and I really admire this about you. Whatever the conversation needs to look like or will make you feel the best, I want you to start preparing your mindset for that so that you start opening up receptors for the love that's coming into your life. Be prepared to receive it. And for those of you that are faith-based, I believe in God, and I believe that if we can receive His love for us, then we know God loves me, therefore I can love myself. And by receiving His love and loving myself, then I can give love to others. It goes in that order. So if we can receive God's love, we can give love to others, but we have to love ourselves. There's like this cycle. We have to love who we are, and that's what makes us able to love other people. So I know that you have given so much to other people in the past, but you've given that love at the cost of yourself. You've sacrificed the love of yourself to give to that person. So what is it going to look like if you're not sacrificing that love for yourself? That you remain steadfast in putting yourself first, which seems selfish, but it actually isn't. Because it's kind of like giving somebody a flower or a bloom off of your plant, but not watering your own roots. If you give and give and give and you don't nourish what's underneath, pretty soon you're not going to have anything left to give. Do you remember in the movie The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn, when she finally gets to the end and she says, I have nothing left to give? It's because she gave to him to the point where she sacrificed herself. She did not love herself enough, and finally the whole relationship depleted her completely, and it was done, right? So I hope this makes sense to you and this is clear. I've got to receive God's love for me, love myself, and then I'm able to love others. And as I'm loving somebody else, if they are not loving and appreciating and giving back, then that is not a relationship that I'm going to be able to sustain my life with. My life will eventually get depleted if I continue with that person. And so our self-love needs to get so strong and our roots need to get so deep that that isn't even an option. So when people get married, before they're ready, they settle because they start cutting away at their own blooms and stems before they've been rooted. And that's why it ends in divorce. They're not ready. So when someone says, why are you single? I haven't met that person yet, and I'm not going to settle. So single is better than settling. Or you don't even have to say that. You can just say, I'm not going to settle, and I have not met the person I would want to spend the rest of my life with. That's it. That's it, right? It's the answer. It is the answer. And so I want you to be confident in that. Really just own it and be proud. Because if you have remained single, I consider myself, I'm going to receive this about myself. Considering this is what I do, I have also not settled. I've been tempted. I've had, oh man, this could be great. This could be, blah, blah, blah. But I've known that this is not it. Melissa, this is not it. And I've thought of you and I thought, I am not going to be the creator of this concept and then sell myself out. I won't do it. I can't do it. I can't be with somebody I'm not really in love with anyway. Or if somebody I really cared about, but I know they're a gumball guy, I know what that does to me. I know that eventually it will destroy me and I'm not willing to do that. So I put myself first and I put my mission that I know I'm put on this earth to do. And I put my trust in God that He will bring that person to me at the right time. But I will tell you the message I'm getting from God right now is prepare to receive. And so that's pretty exciting. Prepare to receive. Ooh, just got chills. So are you preparing to receive? That's it. That's my message for you. I hope this resonated. I hope this is something that really makes you think. And so do your homework, figure out any areas that you feel like you may have walls up. Because when we put a wall up, nobody can take that wall down but us. So if you say you have walls up, don't you be looking for some guy with some kind of pickaxe to start whittling that down. That's not his job. Because if someone shows up and you've got a wall built already, there's nothing they can do. They're going to go, oh, there's a wall here. I guess I can't get through. You have to provide the way, right? There's no receptors. There's just, you put up a wall. That's it. How can you receive love if there's a wall in the way and you put it there? So girls, we don't tell men, I have a lot of walls up. Because I wish, and guys will say that too, I have a lot of walls up. Our response needs to be, well, then I guess you have to take those walls down, because I don't know of a way to help you with that. And they might stare at you like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be the dream girl that, makes all your boo-boos better, because I can't solve the pain of your past. I'm here to move forward into the future. And so we're going to start from this stable place. So we have to find people that are starting at that point, not trying to fix the past with their new relationship or their next relationship. So those of you that are dating, you were dating somebody and you broke up and you see him immediately go into the next relationship, he's not any different. He is not going to, so many people are like, well, what if he sees something in her and he's marrying her and he didn't marry me? It's like, he's not fixed. He's no different than he was with you. You cannot go into a new relationship. Does not change your personality. It does not change your character. It does not change your actions. It does not change your feeling of self-worth. It doesn't change you. You're the exact same person. So I hope this inspires you, and please reach out to me. I love hearing from you. Let me know where you are. If you're in a relationship, you're single, you're stuck, you're going through a breakup. If that guy's got so much space in your head and you're trying to move on and achieve your dreams and work really hard, yet you feel like it's just everything reminds you of him and you're completely stuck, I totally feel you. So if at any time you want to join the Academy, let me know. Go to gumballlove.com. You can click on Academy for all of the details, and we'll be starting classes all the time. So you'll join the group that's already in there, and they are awesome women. I feel like I'm going to get to a point where I'm really going to have to vet people that come in, because I really don't want to mess up the vibe that's in there. It's very precious to me. It's actually my most valued possession is the work that has gone into the Academy and the women that are in it now. I'm just so proud of them for the work that they do every single week, the commitment, the dedication, the love that they give to each other. And so I invite you to join us and just reach out to me and let me know where you are, what's going on in your life. And, if the timing isn't right for you now, just, think about it later. I don't know what's going on for you, but I just want to plant that seed that this is available to you. This resource will change your life. I can say that now with certainty because I'm seeing it happen. I haven't seen anyone go through the Academy that said, oh, this didn't really help. It makes huge changes because it's the real deal. It's what actually works. It's the stuff that people are afraid to teach because it doesn't sound as exciting when you're selling it. It doesn't sound like, I'm going to give you the most magical thing that's going to make your ex call and beg for you back. Like, I'm not saying that because I feel like that is junk and it only leads you further into feeling more down on yourself. I will never be that kind of person. I'm not going to market to you. In fact, sometimes I might try to tease you with that kind of marketing technique and then tell you, don't follow this. I was thinking about, I should do that. I should tease you with one of those cheesy things. And then when you open the email, I'll be like, this is exactly what I don't want you to fall for. So I'll probably end up doing that. But I want you to know that the real thing is out there and it doesn't require any tricks. It doesn't require you to change who you are. In fact, you know what it requires? It requires that you know who you already are inside. Because when I meet my clients, I tell them, after I've worked with them for a few months, I saw this girl on day one. And the whole journey with this entire process is for you to see how beautiful you really are. And once you know it and what you have to offer, you're only going to give it to somebody that will also receive it. They have to receive it too. Think of that. Think of the love that you've given that gumball guy, and he cannot receive it. Let's be done giving to people that can't receive it, and let's become people that have huge capacity to receive big love, because you deserve it. You've given so much and you have so much to give. You are not empty. This isn't the end of the road for you. All you have to do is not settle, stay single until the person comes into your life that can receive your love and that you can receive theirs, that you see each other's value, that you complement each other, that you are building real friendship and real connection. And that's it. It's simple when it's right. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so honored that you listen to this podcast. I so appreciate you every single week. Let me know what I can do for you, melissa@gumballlove.com. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballllove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.